Hello, Arron Renfrew here again with our second video in the What is Money video. Um, we basically broke it down in the first video of what's currency, money, and barter. And the biggest breakdown between money, currency, and the bartering system is that money is a store of value. So currency, there's no store of value. Bartering, once your bartering is done, there's nothing left to exchange, just the objects themselves. So not either one other than money is not a store of value. So we learned that money like gold holds its purchasing power for thousands of years, and we learned that the dollar has not held its value for the last 100 years. It's gone almost to zero. So if we compare thousands of years to 100 years, the dollar is a terrible place to store value. Now, if you want some more details on that part of the What is Money videos, you can go back to the first video and check that out, and we get into a little bit more detail. So, oh, by the way, if you think anyone you know could benefit from these videos, be sure to click the like button, the share button, write some comments. That would be wonderful. I'd like to hear what you guys would like to learn next. So the question is then, if the dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power, and where does that purchasing power go? Does it just evaporate into thin air, or is somebody or something taking the purchasing power from the dollar? Before I get into that, though, I think it's kind of interesting. If I were to tell you, for example, this is how I kind of look at people who save money or the dollar. If I were to tell you that I'm going to retire in about 30 years, I'm working really, really hard, and I'm storing or saving up to retire, I'm saving batteries, right? Batteries, like these batteries. What if I told you I was working really, really hard and I'm planning in 30 years to retire? Well, I love that this particular package of batteries, by the way, I've got young kids, so I need lots of batteries all the time. Guaranteed 10 years in storage or savings or whatever you want to say. So these Duracell batteries, they're guaranteed for 10 years to maintain their charge or their value. Whereas if I compare these batteries to this dollar, there's no guarantee on this $100 bill that this is going to maintain any value. So on the batteries, they're claiming a 10-year life, and as we look on the dollar, this will be worth less tomorrow than it is today. So am I better off to save these and maybe have a great retirement in 10 years? Maybe not 30, right? Because this is going to go down to zero eventually. Well, as we've seen, this will eventually go down to zero as well. So the dollar, biggest scam on America and the world, or valuable tool? It's a valuable tool. Granted, you can use it for exchange, but I guess what it really comes down to is the time value of money. You've probably heard that phrase before. Time value of money. Hopefully after the rest of this video, you'll know that the time value of money is more important than you might have previously thought. So if the dollar or the dollar system represents time and freedom, meaning you can work to cash these up, put them in the bank in your pocket, and then exchange them to free up yourself from having to clean your home, or maybe you're going to ride the bus or drive a car. These things can be exchanged for that. But if we know that every day these are worth less, then, and that they also represent time and freedom, where's that time and freedom going if every day this is worth a little less? So what's constantly chipping away at the dollar? And who is it that's taking that time and freedom? Well, let me tell you. I'm glad you asked. So again, this was when we did the currency, money, and barter from the first video, but we're done with this part. So we're going to just clean this up a little bit right here. And get into the next part of what you need to know about the dollar. Not money. Are you still calling it money? I think we've proven that it's not money because it doesn't hold value. It has the other 6 properties of money, but it's not. It's a currency. All right. So how does money come into circulation? Where do we get the money or the dollars that we spend? Correct me every time I say money instead of dollars. So dollars don't appear out of thin air in some ways. When a dollar is created, looks like that pen's gone. Or maybe it's also just because of the Windex. Good enough. So, in order to bring a dollar into existence, it has to be printed. And it's printed you got to be kidding me. I could just grab the same pen. There we go. It's printed at the Federal Reserve, which, if you want to get technical, is neither a federal nor a reserve. But again, that's another day, another topic. So once they print dollars here at the Fed, how do they get down to the people like you and me that, here, we'll do this. We'll do a little stick figure. Happy person. That person wants their money to buy groceries, build things, develop, invest, whatever. So the Federal Reserve prints the money, creates it, and then to get it to the people, it doesn't take a direct route to the people. What do they do with it to get it into circulation? They go through the government and they buy government bonds. They buy banknotes. They buy, what else can they do with them? Treasury bills. So that means, and this is really important, when the Fed prints money, it goes whoop, whoop. It goes straight to the government in the form into the banks. What does that mean? That means that they get to use the money first. So since they get to use money first, they get to use the full purchasing power of that money before it then, when they buy things with it, it then makes it down to the people. So these steps here are really, really crucial. So if you understand basic supply and demand, typically when you get increase in supply, the opposite and equal reaction happens, that the value goes down. So as the monetary supply goes up, and the same number of people are using the money, there's more money in everybody's hands, so therefore the same dollar, this same paper note, no longer exchangeable for gold, buys fewer things. The prices of things go up. On my last video, I used the example of buying my daughter a gumball. When I was her age, gumball cost a penny, and now it costs 25 cents. That's a prime example of the way the dollar is being eroded away through this process. The Fed prints the money, they buy government bonds, they increase the money supply. People are first happy because when they get the money, they're excited. But what this does is it erodes the money down to the 98%. So the question is, if the Fed, like quantitative easing, you guys have probably heard that in the news, at any given time has the ability to increase the money supply, which decreases the value of the dollar, what does that give them the opportunity to do? Let's say that I've been saving money in my bank. trying to do the right thing, what my parents told me to do. I'm taking the money and I'm saving it in the bank today, and in 2 months, I plan on spending the money on something. I'm saving up for something. Well, in the time that I'm saving this money, it'll purchase X. After the Fed all of a sudden releases a bunch of money into the marketplace, I could purchase at this level before. Well, now they've just put a bunch of money into the market. So what's happened to my money? My purchasing power has gone down. So at the end of the day, the Federal Reserve controls your time and your freedom because they control your purchasing power in relation to the dollar. So when they release the money to the government bonds, the notes, and the treasuries, and then those are made in loans to people and bought services and corporations in the marketplace get that money, it's already worth less when it goes from here to here and gets into circulation. So the question then becomes, wow, if the Federal Reserve, which is a non-elected entity, it's a private for-profit corporation, has that kind of power, and there's nobody elected there that we control, like through Congress, because Congress was originally given the power to mint our coinage. They gave that power. Actually, this is a good quiz question for you. Congress, through the Constitution of the United States, was originally given the power of coin, meaning they could create money for the use of the people. They gave that power up in 1913. The question is, why would they do that? Why would a country that has the ability to create its own coin give that power to someone else? One of the reasons that was done, before the Federal Reserve happened, all you had was the government, and they could create the money. But when they did that, there was accountability, because the officials that in Congress are elected officials, and if they created too much money, took too much purchasing power away from the people, then we could vote the people in Congress out. A couple, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever the cycle is. Wow, you just diluted my purchasing power. I can't buy the same thing I did last year. I don't want you to represent me anymore. So Congress got around that issue by giving that power to the Federal Reserve in 1913. So now when Congress or the government wants to spend more money, all they do is say, hey, Fed, print some money. You can buy some stuff from me like bonds and treasury things. So the Fed prints the money and they buy it from them, and there's no accountability. There's absolutely no reason anybody in Congress needed to get approval for getting that money. Before, they had to get approval from the people because the people would vote them out. So you see the little catch there is that the Fed now has all this power to give Congress unlimited power. And then what does Congress do? Congress wants to give us programs and make all kinds of promises that maybe aren't in the budget, but it doesn't matter because they can just go to the Fed and get more money. And so it looks like the Congress is making all these promises come true, but in reality what they're doing is they're exchanging our purchasing power. Instead of taxes, they're taking it in purchasing power, and they're taking that purchasing power and they're doing things to try to get reelected. So we can't vote them out, but we get excited when they do all these programs for us. So currency is what we currently have. You know, I'm going to grab that phone. That's ridiculous. All right. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So with the Fed being able to print whenever somebody in Congress wants to promise something on demand, they basically control this. And this is a symbol of your time and your freedom. So obviously I have dollars. What am I preaching about? Am I saying don't work for dollars, only work for batteries? No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that, and that people need to realize, is that these are toxic. They're losing value every single day. So in our next video, what we'll want to do is we're going to go over what to exchange these for. What can I do to save for retirement, save for my family, and to better my life that isn't in something toxic like this? So if you liked what you see, go ahead and hit the like button, share button. Really appreciate your time today. I'm hoping that the point that's getting clear is that money and what is it is becoming more clear. We know that it's a medium of exchange. We know it's a unit of account. We know it's durable, divisible, fungible. But currency, the United States dollar, does not hold value. And that's the one thing that I think people miss. We could also get into the minimum wage and why that doesn't matter either, because as soon as you raise the minimum wage, what do? You raise the supply of money in circulation. What does that do? Prices go up. Anyways, that's another video, another day. So thanks for watching. And again, hit the like and share button. And on video number 3, we're going to say what you can do to get out of this toxic, depreciating, worthless stuff. All right, take care.